Well, what do you know? It looks like the government is engaged in massive corruption in the James Comey case. Donald Trump's Justice Department lying in a criminal case? No. We got this post from Kyle Cheney breaking. Magistrate orders DOJ to turn over grand jury materials to Comey, finding real prospect that government misconduct may have tainted the case. I just want to say I predicted like exactly this. Exactly what ended up happening here, I have been saying is probably what happened. Everyone was so surprised that the government even decided to try to go for this indictment given how weak the case was, and given the fact that other career prosecutors had declined to press charges against Comey given how weak the case was. And then all of a sudden, Lindsay Halligan comes along and goes for this indictment and somehow actually manages to secure a grand jury indictment on the second try. And from that point forward, as soon as she was actually able to secure an indictment, all I heard from MAGA, every single MAGA person I talked to about this case and how it was a political prosecution, all I kept hearing was, well, they got the indictment, he got indicted. And every single time I said, well, you know how people say a grand jury will indict a ham sandwich? Well, the reason people say that is because when a prosecutor is presenting a case to a grand jury, there is literally nothing stopping that prosecutor, in the moment at least. Now, it could come back and bite them later on, like it's literally doing here. But in that moment, there's nothing stopping the prosecutor from lying about the facts of the case and lying about the law. And it very much looks like Lindsay Halligan lied to the grand jury about the law. Just bear with me for a second as I read you the conclusion of the judge's order. The court recognizes that the relief sought by the defense is rarely granted. However, the record points to a disturbing pattern of profound investigative missteps that led an FBI agent and a prosecutor to potentially undermine the integrity of the grand jury proceeding. Therefore, in this case, the court has before it a rare example of a criminal defendant who can actually make a particularized and factually based showing that grounds exist to support the proposition that irregularities may have occurred in the grand jury proceedings and may justify the dismissal of one or more counts of the indictment. Now, in this order, there is obviously actual evidence provided that Lindsay Halligan lied to the grand jury in order to secure the indictment. However, given the fact that it is still, as of now, a sealed grand jury proceeding, it's redacted, so we can't actually see specifically what was said yet, but whatever it was enough for the judge to grant extraordinary relief and release the grand jury materials to the defense. But again, this is extraordinarily unsurprising. Nobody should be acting surprised by this. Given how weak the case against Comey was from the outset, it almost only made sense that the indictment was secured by lying to the grand jury. So you shouldn't be surprised by this, but you definitely need to recognize that this is horrifically immoral and illegal conduct by the Department of Justice, Lindsay Halligan, Donald Trump. This is the type of shit you see in a banana republic. But Trump would love nothing more than to turn the US into a banana republic led by him, so shouldn't be surprised at all.